everybody, it's Christian from Serene Education with the 4 majors and last update for the 16th of August 2012. Let's have a look at the 4 majors this morning. Starting with euro against US dollar. So I've got the daily up here in front of me. Let's have a look. Okay, hesitation, indecision at major support and resistance level just recently at 12.3500. I've seen price falling back to the downside, and yesterday's candle moving lower towards that 12.2500 mark. Price support and resistance level on our short term here. This little heads up over here, that will be our target. Now it's trading above it on the Asian session this morning, going into the European session this morning. You can see a very indecisive candle. If it finds support at 12.25, then we could see a potential bounce to the upside. It's got to break this 12.25 as soon as possible, and ideally get below that 12.23 or trade towards the 12.200 is a potential first target. Second target down here at the 12.15 before we look at the ultimate target down at 1200 being the major long-term support and resistance level on this pair, the weekly. So as it stands at the moment now, intraday, let's have a look at the 12.2250. There we go. You can see 12.2250 being our support. Previously here, we saw price bouncing on here on the 10th, and subsequently you can see the institution moving average now being breached in the last 4 hours. Price is hugging the top side of that candle. However, you can see the moving average all above price, and most importantly, the CTC is negative. And you can see that we've seen lower swings recently. Swing low, swing low, swing lows, dictating downside movement for this pair. All be happening below a major support and resistance level here at 12.3500. So for anybody looking for further shorting opportunities, got to see a break below the 12.2550 to see any further continuation to the downside, with at least the 12.13 as our first target, and ultimately down to the 12.200 down the bottom here before short little heads up before 12.05. So we've got a lot of targets to the downside if and when price closes below this 12.2250 mark. I'll look at my 1 hour entry chart, and let's have a look and see the CTC is very much red on either side for the short term. Lower swings depicting downside movement. You can quite clearly see here the failed break recently on the 14th. We've seen price failing at the underside of 12.35 on the 15th at 10 a.m. GMT, and we saw price moving lower, and yesterday just moving sideways through the latter part of the US session into the Asian session drop, and we're trading now just above the 12.2550. Break below that with a nice bearish golfing, we should be targeting 12.200 and then ultimately 205 before we see that 200 down the bottom being our ultimate target for this pair. RSI is in our favor. Telling our sentiment is genuinely looking negative. You can see at the moment now price RSI moving in the direction of the trend, which all looks set for further downside movements. So everything's looking good. Moving average above price. CTC overall is negative. Most importantly, our 50% line has been breached and price is trading below a major support and resistance level. The only thing we need to see now is price closing lower than the 12.2500 mark, and we should see further shorting opportunities towards the 12.200 and ultimately 12.05, with 1200 being our long-term target. Let's have a look at sterling. Let's move to the daily. Let's have a look. A lot of indecision candles the past 3 days at the underside of a major support and resistance level. This is all just smacked of just exhaustion to the upside, and sure enough, we saw a spinning top yesterday. We wanted a decision candle on this morning Asian session. We've seen price moving lower. All this happening below the institution moving average, and most importantly the 1575, which is a major long-term support and resistance level. Yes, for this time from the daily, everything's looking positive. However, intraday, there's just too much exhaustion over here for price at the moment now, and if it continues this way and closes below this area here, what are we looking at? The 38.2, then ultimately we should be looking for that downside to progress and momentum to progress, and we should be targeting the 15.5500 mark quite soon. So intraday we should be looking for price to actually close below the 38.2 mark. So let's have a look at the 4 hour chart, for example. There you have it, the 15.66 mark. You can see price is trading below that at the moment. You can see the red arrow, and our CTC on the top side has gone red. However, we don't have the red on either side, so we want to see this bearish engulfing candle closing lower than this area here at 15.66. Get that, and then we should be looking for further opportunities to the downside. Break of this fib retracement area here would confirm that we should be looking for further negative sentiment, and we should be looking for ultimately targets down to the downside roughly around the 15.600 to start with potentially down here at 15.57 as the ultimate target for this pair. Hourly entry candle, let's have a look. RSI well above 50 as we head into this area here, but however you can see just recently price falling through the Asian session and RSI trading below the 50 period moving average. We have the institution to get over. If we can get it closed below this on an hourly chart, then we should be targeting the downside for this pair. Let's have a look here. The lowest low, high. You can see where price is trading now. There's a little upside trend as we speak. The institution in play, so it's imperative that we see on the hourly price trading below that institution moving average. And once it's done and RSI is below the 50 period moving average here, then we should be targeting the downside. Ultimately, looking at these prices down here, 15.55.80, and ultimately down to 15.55.100. This will be our ultimate target intraday if we get a nice break and close below that area here. Next up is Swiss franc, good old Swissy. Let's have a look on the daily. Yeah, you can see momentum to the upside, still in favor as we maintain those highs above the 970 mark. But you can see price coming unstuck here at this fib extension level here at 50%. Got to get above it in order to see price progressing to the upside and ultimately back to that target here at 1000, which is our long-term support and resistance level. And you can see that lower swings have been broken. Just need this little intermediate trend over here has been breached just recently in the last couple of days. So it's imperative the price actually closes higher. If that's the case, then we could look for potential targets to the previous swing low here at 987 as our first target, with our second target here at 1000. So get a break and close above the current area it's trading at now at 9780. Get above that, and then we should be looking for further opportunities to the upside. Let's have a look at that intraday. There we go. You can see the institution moving average where price is trading at the current moment on our 4 hour. You can see how much resistance we had here previously. So it's imperative that price actually closes higher in this area. Otherwise, we are not going to see any further sentiment to drive us to the upside. We want to see a nice bullish engulfing candle confirming that sentiment is still generally looking for topside. And you can see the intermediate trend just recently has been breached. Moving average all below price. The only thing we have in the way is this fib retracement here, the 50% one at the 979 mark. So get above 980 here would be a clear signal we should be looking for further topside movement as everything is falling in our favor. We have our CTC, the most importantly, telling us we should still look for positive sentiment, but the only thing in the way is this resistance level here at the 979 mark. Close higher than that should and will confirm further upside movement for this pair. Hourly entry candle, there we go, the 979. Got to make a note of it. Major resistance here. It's imperative. Look at the last hour candle. Very, this one will be pretty much sucking people into the trade, triggering long term and closing their short positions. Then we should see price moving higher. RSI is well above the 50% line, which is confirming that we should be looking for further opportunities to the upside. You can see the last attempt here. Notice where price is trading in conjunction with that. You can see that we're seeing a resistance here and we're seeing a slight pull there. So got to wait for an hourly candle close higher than this 979 mark. Ideally above 980 would confirm price moving higher above a major resistance level. All our moving averages are below price, supporting her on her way up. You can see we're seeing higher swings on the support here at 9790. So price is being pushed to the upside. Got to see it close higher than this area here at 979. That's a major resistance level on our intraday time frame. It has to be breached in order to see further upside movement for this pair. So wait for confirmation, close above this area, and then look for a nice confirmation of price finding support above here, and then we look for topside. On to the last pair of the day, the US dollar good old US dollar Japanese yen. Apologies for that. You can see yesterday we had a nice upside candle. I said as we get a nice bullish engulfing candle that took us above all this, we should see price reverting to the upside and targeting 9720, and sure enough we've had price moving into that area. It's imperative that price actually closes above this area, finds support, and then we'll see price heading towards that 80 mark. If not, we could see price consolidating here, potentially price to pull back. So it's imperative that this candle closes higher than the 7920 mark here, and then we see price finding support here. Otherwise we can see price reverting to the downside. So wait for a close of this candle, wait for price to close high here on an hourly chart, and we should see support being found here. Otherwise we can forward price to see 80 being targeted. Apologies. So on our small time frame, let's have a look at 4 hour. There we go. You can see that 7920. That's our previous support and resistance level. You can see consolidation at this area here. So it's imperative the price actually closes above this area on our smaller time frames, or intraday time frames. You can see on the 4 hour chart, price closing higher. You can see the pullback now on the 4 hour. As long as it closes higher than 7920, then we should see price finding support, and we could see potential for further movement to the upside. CTC and everything's in our favor. All the colors are blue, so we have blue arrow, blue candles, blue histograms on the other side, and most importantly all our moving averages are below price, and we've just closed above a major support and resistance level on the 7920 mark. So as it stands now, look for support to be found above this area so we can look for targets to the upside. hourly entry candle. You can see quite clearly here the 7920. There we go. Price trading above it. RSI above 50. Fantastic. Blue, blue, blue. Everything's blue. All the moving areas below price. Everything's looking fantastic. So as long as we find support here on our small hourly time frame, we should be targeting 7970 or 79980, and then we head towards that 80, which is our long-term target to the upside. So we've got a nice target area for this pair, if and when we get price actually finding support above this area. So wait for this candle here to close. If it closes nice and positive above 7920, look for an entry. Stop below here just to target 80 as our first target. That's it for today, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. Please be aware of the news. We have a lot of news out today, starting with retail sales month-on-month figures for sterling. Have a look and see the previous figure to see how retail sales were doing. We have, going into this afternoon, we have at 1:30 GMT the US building permits. They're expecting a slightly higher figure, and then unemployment claims for the US market at 1:30 as well. They're expecting 4,000 more, and then the US housing starts. So it'll be interesting to see what the building permits and housing starts do. Unemployment claims, as always, very important. And then we have at 3 p.m. GMT the Fed manufacturing index, very, very important to see how that's improving. If we look at the previous figures for this, we had negative 12.9, which is a shocking figure. Then we had a forecast of negative 4.7, so it's getting better. So the actual figure's got to be greater than the forecast. So if you look at the moment now, if it comes out it's negative 4.6, 4.5, or that way, going towards the zero line, back towards parity, then they're looking fantastic. Otherwise, if it comes out worse than 4.7, so 4.8, negative 5, etc., then we're going to see the US dollar take a bit of a beating, because it's not looking good in terms of the economic health businesses. Look at this for changes in sentiment, and it gives them an early an indication of the economic activity on such things as spending, hiring, and investment. So it's important that this is going to be quite a good one to actually have a gauge of how the manufacturing side of things are happening in the US market at the moment. So be aware of these news announcements, guys. It's so important. And keep your trading simple, guys. Make sure you plot your major support and resistance levels, are well aware of trend lines, and make sure you understand candlesticks. I think candlesticks are so important in trading. If you have an understanding of them, they're going to just help you a lot more. And just keep it simple. Can't keep referring to that. It's so important. A lot of people try and make their trading so difficult. And the simpler you keep it, the more likely you are to be more profitable. So be aware of your major support and resistance levels on your daily, because those will, and plot those lines on your intraday, because they will dictate price action intraday, guaranteed. Otherwise, back it up with sound money management, get that right, and then you have a perfect trading strategy. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Until then, trade serenely.